You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com. And this beautiful Friday, March 29th, fresh off the car lot, right back in studio. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning.
And good morning, Rico.
Good morning.
Look at that. We got a super show lined up for you on this Friday to kick off the weekend, right? As, spring is in the air. We're just weeks away from the Stoner Solace, as we learned about on Wednesday, which is huge. We got the Pima County Fair right around the corner. Roadrunners games tonight, and they keep taking every good player we have. But that's okay. We're still good enough.
Shame.
We're still good enough. I'm hoping for a couple wins so we can get that home ice advantage going into the playoffs. But they called up Cam Karate the other day as well. He's another good guy. He went to the National. They just called up Josh Doan, who is Shane Doan's son, and he went to the Coyotes and immediately scored 2 goals. And
Good.
That's what they do every year. That's the only heartbreak of being a part of an AHL team. It's because you get this great squad at the beginning of the year, man, and we're like, man, we got what it takes, to win a championship. This is going to be the year. And then as we proceed, like, first place, nobody could touch us. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, that guy that keeps scoring all the goals, we're going to take him. And I'm like, oh.
Giant claw comes down and just grabs your best players.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's like nonstop. And you always have to I feel for the coach and the organization because they always have to continue to make these moves. And they're just like, okay, yeah, we'll took your score. And then you're like, okay, well, at least we still have good defense. And they're like, oh yeah, the guy that plays a good defense, we're going to take him as well. Oh, well, at least we got this goalie that makes sure that the other team can't score on us. Oh, goalie, you say. Pluck. Like, son of a bitch, man. So I guess going into this weekend's games, we have 3 players left. And they might even call me onto the, ice myself. I might be a backup player. So we're
You
doomed.
just figured out something that would make sports so much more interesting, I think.
What's that?
If either opposing team had the chance to pull like an Uno card out and they had their best player switched with like a complete amateur for just like a couple plays.
Let's
Let's see what would happen.
It's funny you say that because there are sometimes scenarios where a complete amateur is on the roster for the game and players and our fans don't know it. In fact, actually, one of our Zamboni guys, his name's Eric, and he drives the Zamboni each and every game. Sometimes there'll be teams that come to town to play the Roadrunners, and they'll have one of their goalies get called up. And when a goalie gets called up, they got to drop everything and go right then and there. So, that means the team will be arriving to Tucson with only one goalie, and they need to have a backup goalie. So what they do, and this has happened several times already, is they have signed Eric to a 1-day contract, right? And they have him suit up in the goalie gear as a backup in case the goalie gets injured.
Wow.
Yeah, and we all secretly want that goalie to get injured.
Like, get him in there.
Now, I don't know whether or not Eric will throw the game. I would hope, him being a Tucson resident and being a part of our team for so long,
Right.
that he would look the other way when it was time for the team to shoot on him, right? But we don't know until we actually see that scenario. I would just hope that if they finally call him into the game, that we end up winning the game 107-0, right?
Incredible. A Rudy moment.
Yeah. And just to where the Roadrunners would carry the opposing team's goalie on their shoulders off the ice. Like, you're number 1, man. But it's gotten close, In fact, actually, because sometimes they'll call a goalie out of the game if the goalie keeps getting scored on. And there was a situation where Eric was the backup goalie and the starting goalie was having a bad night. And our boys were just lighting him up. And we kept looking over at the coach. The coach is frustrated. And we were thinking, like, is he going to do it? Is he going to be like, you got to get out of this game, man? But then he's like, oh, man, I only have a Zamboni driver as a backup. So I don't know.
So who's the backup Zamboni driver in that case?
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's it. Just no more Zamboni.
No.
Nope.
We have 2 Zamboni drivers. Yeah. And actually, there's a third there. So we're actually more prepared than visiting teams when they come to the TCC. I know. So yeah, it is an interesting thing. But we got a great show lined up for you today, and I want to get into a whole bunch of stuff, including give out some keywords so you could qualify to win $2,024. And we got your morning more on, of course, coming up next. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. I'm already laughing because I labeled this segment DoorDash and Harass. Okay. Now we've shared plenty of stories of DoorDash drivers harassing the customers, and it usually is because they're upset about the amount of tip they were getting or no tip at all.
Mhm.
And so you see these kind of DoorDash drivers kind of react in a way that is unprofessional and sometimes even criminal. But I've never came across a story of a customer getting essentially a complaint of harassment from a DoorDash driver. But that's exactly what happened to a woman. She received this email from DoorDash and it read, "Hello, we're writing to inform you that we received a report that you created an unsafe environment involving claims of sexual harassment towards another person." The old Pornhub storyline, right?
Mhm.
In violation of our sexual harassment policy while engaging with the DoorDash platform. Right now, I didn't even know this could be a thing, but apparently it could be a thing. Now, what makes this even odder is that this was sent to a woman. So it was, the DoorDash driver was a male complaining that the woman was sexually harassing him.
I mean, I am the biggest feminist on the planet. Like, for real, women can sexually harass men and other women just as much as men.
Trust me, I know. I've been
yeah.
sexually harassed for sure. Now, at DoorDash, the safety of drivers, merchants, and customers that use DoorDash platform are paramount. We want to make sure the Dashers feel safe while performing deliveries. The merchants feel comfortable working with Dashers, and so on and so forth. So that's what the email read to this woman. She says, "Sincerely, the customer operations team." So this is a warning. And they did not terminate her DoorDash account just yet. But if she was going to get one more sexual harassment claim against her, it was done, right?
Mhm.
But she took it to Reddit and she's like, "I got this message today and it's really bothering me." And then she gave a background. She's like, "I'm a single mom in my mid-30s. I order from DoorDash frequently and have never said, done, or implied anything that could be perceived as sexual harassment to a DoorDash driver."
And who isn't naked when they open the door? Come on, guys.
Right. Yeah. Now, the only conversations I've had with any of the Dashers have been about how to find my apartment, because that's kind of annoying, right? Then she went on to say, "I answer the door and I say thank you and I tell them to have a good night. I am never wearing anything revealing or anything weird like that. I'm fat and I'm usually in a frumpy mom pajamas and a messy bun." See, there's the issue right there. Some people, that says game on. Even if I were that kind of person who wanted to do something like this, it would put my safety at risk to do so.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we talked about the DoorDash D and things like that, but
Door rash.
yeah. So she said, "I checked my account to make sure that no one else hacked it, and nobody did." She also stated that she always tips decently, so she can't imagine it was in retaliation for like a bad tip either. So she can't imagine anything will come of it, given it's a warning. But she just doesn't understand why someone would do this, and she's wondering if it ever happened to anybody else. And most people are like, "No, you're the only one sexually harassing DoorDash drivers." What would you do in this situation if you got in this odd complaint? Because this is another one of those weird things where a stranger could just throw out this vicious complaint towards you and literally had nothing to do with you.
I mean, I would freaking email back DoorDash and be like, "I'd love you to give you my side of this before you make this final decision that I get my first warning."
I would love it if the person on the other phone is just a guy who, just based off your tone is like, whoa, stop coming on to me, lady. There's nothing you could do in that situation.
You're just so oblivious that you always sound horny.
Yeah.
You're just like, that's your lot
Wait,
in
is that
life.
what I really sound like?
Yes. Yeah.
All the time?
Always. You're constantly moaning.
I'm married. Hey.
Yeah. Whoa. And is it a situation where this DoorDash driver was so turned on by this woman? Because, to each his own. And just because she's putting herself down doesn't mean that he wouldn't find her desirable.
Right.
And it's like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to deliver food to people who I don't want to sleep with. And this woman opened up the door and I totally would." That's harassment. It's a weird world we live
It's
in, man.
weird.
My
Yeah,
God.
We can complain about that. I mean, it's a good thing that you dressed up like a butch lesbian today. So that way I can't file any like harassment claims against you because I don't know who dressed the sexier, you or Rico.
Oh,
No Diddy.
no Diddy.
Okay, a
Are
little
they gonna
bit
put
of Diddy.
are they gonna put body cams on DoorDash guys now? Is that what's gonna happen?
Maybe.
Oh God.
I don't know, but I thought this was a very odd report, and it was posted on Reddit, and that's so
Mhm.
funny. So keep an eye out and make sure that when you're actually, I guess the only way to prevent this is just tell them to leave it at the door. The fact that she was still opening up her door
Yeah.
to get food
Mhm.
post pandemic. I mean, as much as I don't mind interacting with people who deliver me food, I
Mhm.
still have them leave it at the door,
I do
and then
too.
I wait till they leave, and then I crack the door open, look around, and I grab my food real quick.
Like a crackhead.
So yeah, but
That's the move.
At the same time, nobody ever accused me of sexual harassment, so
Mhm.
that's how you do it.
At least this week.
Okay, okay.
Your doormat says DTF.
We're gonna have to reset. More Beef Figure Presents on the way. DoorDash and Dick.
Did you get caught self-loving by your mom?
It is awkward.
Did you do something that got you fired from your job?
I just get stupider.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600-KFMA right away.
I promise we won't embarrass you.
Because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Time for another edition of Your F My Life. These are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beefvegan@kfma.com, subject line FML. And we got Weirdo and Rico weighing in on these F My Life situations. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, first email sent to me by Tommy. Tommy said, I text my girlfriend that I'm going to kick my professor's ass, but instead of kick, due to autocorrect, my phone said lick. My girlfriend then told me I'm Diddy. See, I told you it's catching on, and it looks like she listens to the show. But is that enough my life?
No, it's Big Baby.
All right, yeah, because it happens. Autocorrects happen.
Yeah, it
happens.
does. It does. Big baby.
Fair enough. Yeah, and your girlfriend sounds awesome, and then she listens to the show. Bonus points. Marry that woman. All right, here's our next FILI situation. Today, I realized half my underpants were missing. In related news, my slob of a roommate hasn't washed hers in several weeks, and she has been stealing mine. As
Ugh.
Stephanie wrote this, is that an F My Life weirdo?
Yes.
Yeah,
So gross.
that is gross, right?
Yeah, you don't do that.
You don't do that
You don't do that.
anymore.
No.
No, that sounds super gross. And she's stealing from you. And it's a roommate. So, yeah, that's F My Life through and through. All right, next F My Life situation. Recently, I was that idiot who spent ages making a soup stock from meat and vegetables, but then while separating it, forgot to put the pan underneath the strainer. So I poured the finished stock down the sink, leaving me only with boiled meat and vegetables sitting sadly in the strainer. Takeaway Chinese for me then.
Yeah. I can relate to this because like we made some homemade pizzas the other night and like just dumb move. I was like, I usually put pizzas straight on the rack.
Yeah.
That was a very bad idea. It was all melted at the bottom. And I was super proud of it too. I was like, these are gonna be delicious. And then I get
Just you
and I
wait.
open the oven and I'm like, crap.
Yeah, that's funny though, but that was a dumb move.
Super dumb
yeah.
move.
It's
and
not
then
a frozen pizza.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, no.
so
I-
F Weirdo's life on that one?
Yeah.
F their
Yep.
lives.
Yeah. Especially when you're craving pizza and you're like, oh, it's gonna be on the way. It's gonna be
Mhm.
fantastic.
and
Yeah.
I had to remake everything.
All right. Ashley sent me this next email, and she said recently I subbed for a first grade class. They're releasing butterflies, but butterflies scare me S-less. So a bunch of 7-year-olds watched as I screamed hysterically when one landed on me. That's my
Oh.
life. What do you say, Rico?
Yeah, if it's that bad, sure. I mean, that sounds like a nightmare.
Her nightmare is about pretty butterflies?
Uh-huh.
What do you say, weirdo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. They're calling you a baby.
Mhm.
And of course, you're only a sub, so you know that story's going to be told to the next teacher, the real teacher.
Yeah.
Not that you're not a real teacher. All right, let's move forward. Final F My Life of the day. Today, I was expecting a call from my friend. My phone rang, and I answered it with "Sup, bitch," as a joke. It wasn't my friend on the phone. It was my boss.
Oh.
Jeremy sent me this one. F My Life. What do you say, weirdo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rico.
Yeah.
Foot in mouth.
Oops.
Uh-huh. That's
Just
a
kidding.
classic FML, Jeremy. Thanks for that email. Keep them coming. Beefegan at KFMA.com. We'll at the reset have more Beefegan Presents right after this. Rock 102.1. Is it not working? Did it not record?
It says recording right now.
Well, I'm recording here. What a dramatic ending for Bush's song. That's the only part I don't like about that song, Glycerine.
I've
And
struggled with that.
Yeah. It's like you don't need that. You don't need the strings at the end there, Gavin. In fact, actually, the best performance Gavin did of that song was MTV Spring Break in the rain, right? And he just like, I may die up here, but what a way to go. And he kind of set the tone. And honestly, like, I don't know what was more soaked, okay? The stage from the like hurricane that was coming in or the audience, because, it was.
Because they were also getting rained on.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
It's time to get in your celebrity headlines here. There's some big stories. Are you familiar with the name Caitlin Clark?
No.
You should be. What about you, Rico? Have you been following Caitlin Clark at all?
It sounds vaguely familiar. I should know this, but go ahead.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark is a phenom, a generational talent, and a female basketball player that plays for Iowa's women's basketball team. They're currently on a strong run in NCAA, and they're favored to actually win the whole thing.
Mhm.
And that's because Caitlin is one of the best shooters in basketball history. And I'm not just talking about women's sport. In fact, actually, this last NBA All-Star break, Caitlin went against Steph Curry, who's considered by many to be the greatest shooter of all time, and in a little 3-point shooting contest. And she almost won.
Whoa.
Now, Steph Curry beat her, but narrowly.
Right.
And here's a fun little fact. She made more and did better in that competition than the winner of the actual 3-point competition that year.
Jeez.
Right. So
Wow.
she is one of those basketball players where you're just like, it doesn't matter, man or woman, she's good.
Undeniable.
Good. Yes. And one person who knows that is Ice Cube. And it was just recently revealed that he offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three League this summer. Now, Big Three is a league that Ice Cube has started up with other investors. It's almost like a rival to the NBA. There is beef between the two.
Nice.
But he's making the first move. And I feel like this move may make the NBA potentially consider Caitlin Clark to be the first woman to play for the NBA.
That would be cool.
Massive, right?
Mhm.
Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark did play in the Big Three or the NBA against male athletes, I think she'd still do phenomenally well. She won't put up like massive rebound numbers, but you leave her unguarded, there's a good chance that ball's going in. And to watch her play has been a phenomenal thing. So Caitlin Clark is a name that you need to be familiar with because, again, it's one of those kind of rule-breaking generational talents. Like, you don't think it's possible. But
It's just, I don't know. It's kind of sad too because you look at the WNBA and pretty much they're telling all of them, "Hey, sorry, just weren't that good.
Yeah, that's true.
You weren't that good."
Yeah, Ice Cube. Ice Cube is like, it's great too because he's leading this movement and just like, like, I don't care that she's a woman, I got her. And then all
Right.
these other women, that's a good way to look at
Hey.
it. Like, oh, sorry, girls.
You're not good.
I mean, you're good, but you're not like
good.
You're not like guy good. She's guy good. she is guy good. You're just not guy good. Oh,
Right. You know what we're saying,
Oh.
right? We love you,
Oh,
but you're just not good.
are bad. Yeah. I mean, that's a funny way to look at it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, either way, Caitlin's going to be playing professional basketball, whether it's the WNBA, which the WNBA definitely wants her, or Big Three, or potentially NBA. So keep an eye on that as that story is developing. And other celebrity news, producer Jerry Bruckheimer has announced that, yes, there will be a Pirates of the Caribbean reboot, and it's currently in the works. That's the reaction of the entire internet community, right? Because a lot of people are saying, hey, if you're not going to cast Johnny Depp, then it's not Pirates
Get
of the
out,
Caribbean.
right.
Caribbean.
Jack Sparrow was that
Yes.
whole entire franchise.
Mhm.
And what actor would have the balls to try to replace Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow?
Timothy Chardonnay.
Oh, of course, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy's taking all of
Right. He's doing all the reboots.
all of Johnny Depp's roles, basically.
Pretty much.
I actually just recently watched Wonka, or attempted to.
I heard it was
didn't finish
okay.
it. Yeah.
It's no Gene Wilder.
No, it's
But
no.
come on.
Yeah, it's no Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Is he
It's-
yelling at a kid? at the end?
I didn't make
Good
it to
day!
the end. I did not make it to
Oh.
the end. Yeah. So either way, Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson thinks that front row seats should. Is this going to be your music news?
No.
Okay, good. He thinks that front row seats at a show should be most reasonably priced, not the most expensive, because he says the real fans should show up there and they keep the music alive. And I say, I argue that yes, they should be cheaper, only because they're not the best seats. To be honest,
No, yeah, there's been a couple times I've gone to shows and been like right up front, especially if the stage is really, really close, and my neck is dead.
Right? Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, it's not
You're
the
looking straight up.
funnest.
The sound's not quality. You know, yeah. It's just there.
Right,
So,
and especially if it's seated, okay, fine. But if it's not, and you're right up against the rail, you're just getting smushed. Like it's not all that it's cracked up to be.
right, yeah. So we agree, but for different arguments. And there's talks about a Bruce Springsteen movie in the works, based off of him making his 1982 album Nebraska, and they're talking about casting Jeremy Allen White to be in the role for
The
Bruce
Bear.
Springsteen. Yeah, from the Bear. From the Bear to the Boss.
Oh,
Yeah, and just based off that alone, that's good casting. If you go from the Bear to the Boss, yeah. But if you look at Jeremy Allen White, he kind of looks like Springsteen-ish, and I don't think
Yeah.
Springsteen is a tall man by stature, and they both work out and love to work out. So that's
he can wear a denim jacket. It'll be good.
yeah, that's a slam dunk. As far as casting, I would say 100% go Jeremy Allen White. And I would also agree with Christopher Nolan's decision not to cast Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman, because he was in the running to play the role that Christian Bale eventually took. And imagine if we had a Jake Gyllenhaal Batman, I don't think we would have made 3 movies.
No.
Yeah. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal, I know you're a fan. You just watched Roadhouse about 3 times in a row. But yeah, the one good thing about this story that Jake Gyllenhaal revealed is that he was so close to getting Batman, but then Christopher Nolan decided not to give him the role. Now, in most situations, especially in entertainment, but in dating and personal life, that's when that person ghosts you and you don't hear the news that you're not getting that role. It happens in radio all the time where you're just like, you think you're in the running and you don't hear anything and they just don't get back to you because they lack spines. Christopher Nolan, he's got balls for all of us. All right. He called up Jake Gyllenhaal personally to tell him he wasn't going to be Batman. And then he laughed like the Joker at him, which was weird. But
Because
still.
he said, your sister's going to be in it, though.
And then we're gonna super murder her.
You know what though? That's a cool
messed
point
up.
too, because they were love interests in a way too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would have messed things up. So there you have it. There's your celebrity headlines. Looking at the reset. We got Draft My Life coming up right after this. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1. All right, I have an update. I got to do some apologies here, Rico. Mucho just texted me and said Steph didn't face Caitlyn at all. He played Sabrina, and the hype is that he plays Caitlyn next year. Yeah, so
what?
yeah,
Who's
and
this Sabrina now?
just another fantastic college basketball player, or actually, she's probably WNBA. Either way, Caitlyn next year, and Mucho thinks that Caitlyn's going to beat Curry. So that's how good Caitlyn is, and we'll see if she takes that $5 million deal from Ice Cube. All the other information, factual. All right,
Look at you. Good job.
Yeah, one little slip up. There you go. But yeah, there you go. There was a Beefy Presents on-air correction. We're not afraid to admit when we're wrong. It just doesn't happen often. All right, you got your F My Life's coming up right around the corner. Here's the Offspring. We got to get away on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Oh, yes. Time for the music news with Weirdo. What do you got for us today, Weirdo?
Good night, Cleveland.
What is that?
It's Spinal Tap 2. It is currently being filmed in New Orleans, and they have announced all the cameos that will be taking place.
I saw some of this. Yeah, go ahead and share with us some of the cameos.
We got Metallica's Lars Ulrich, Red Hot Chili Peppers' Chad Smith, and also Elton John, Paul McCartney, Garth Brooks, Questlove, and Trisha Yearwood will also be making cameos.
Okay, so there's 3 names in there that you got to pay attention to, and that's the drummers: Lars Ulrich, Chad Smith, and Questlove. Because Spinal Tap's running gag is that they can't keep a drummer. So yeah, that they're going to burn through drummers and some of the best. And I'm glad Questlove is in that list as well. So you're talking 3 of the best drummers in the game today.
Right. So so Rob Reiner has returned to direct and write, and also do his role as the documentary, and Marty DeBurgi. And then Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer will be reprising their roles along with Fran Dresser.
Amazing.
It's going to be so good.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't
hopefully.
You don't want to get your hopes too far up, It is a sequel that is like 45 years after the fact.
40 years, yeah 1984.
And every parent gets to be like, you kids don't even know.
You have no idea.
You don't know what comedy is.
Yeah.
Right. So still should be pretty cool. I wonder if Will Ferrell will play Chad Smith.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. What else you got in music news?
Well, My Chemical Romance's Gerard Way has a new horror comic coming out because, of course, he has his Umbrella Academy. And basically, it's going to follow a nurse that has the most bizarre care center around. The staff are not entirely human, and the cases are downright unearthly. Aliens, ghosts, superheroes, and more creatures plague its hallways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so he's staying in the comic game.
Well, there he should. I mean, the Umbrella Academy was brilliant. Unfortunately, they kind of like jumped the shark when it comes to the series on Netflix.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. But I have faith in Gerard Way's vision when it comes to that world. It's something he's definitely passionate about and super talented with. So yeah. Bring it on.
Yeah. And a new podcast is going to be coming out that's right up your alley. A man wearing a backwards hat and talking UFO conspiracies.
Okay, no, I'm out, dude. Well, who's trying to bite my style right now?
Fred Durst.
Son of a bitch, dude. Durst has always been like eating up. God damn it.
Yep.
I'm about to break stuff. How about that, Fred Durst?
Yes, per Variety, Durst and Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan have both signed on with comedian Bill Maher and his Club at Random Studios for new podcasts. Don't know what Billy Corgan's is going to be about, but for sure, Fred Durst and UFOs, it's all about it.
Billy Corgan vampirism. Or just
exactly. Something.
I guarantee you Billy Corgan's going to talk wrestling.
Probably,
he owns the NWA. He's a huge mark, and it just engulfs his life. The fact that the Smashing Pumpkins consistently tour is 100% to fund his wrestling passion. So I would see Billy Corgan do another wrestling podcast, and then Fred Durst trying to be like the UFO conspiracy theory Joe Rogan. Does he need a producer?
Yes, accepting applications now.
Right,
Go.
that's good. Yeah, I might have to be looking for, different jobs. But yeah, that does upset me that now Fred Durst is in the podcast game. Everyone's in the podcast
Yeah,
game.
they are.
Oh, speaking of which, you guys should subscribe, youtube.com/bevegan. We're in the podcast game.
Mhm.
We've been wearing backwards hats talking about UFOs way before Fred Durst was doing it. Anything else in music news?
Liquid Death and Elf Cosmetics are teaming up for corpse paint.
Oh, nice.
Yes, easy breezy brutal. You can now do your best cannibal corpse or look just like Tobias Forge of Ghosts with corpse paint brought to you by Liquid Death and Elf Cosmetics with names such as Dead Set, Kiss of Death, I Die, Deadline, and Brush with Death.
Liquid Death is like the new Red Bull when it comes to branding.
Yes, they're on everything.
They're doing big business there and doing cool stuff. So Red Bull will do more of the extreme sports stuff.
Mhm.
Liquid Death is getting into the extreme lifestyle stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, I'm all for it because it comes in a cool coffin case and they're having a lot of fun with it too. The promo video is super cheesy.
Trust me, nobody listening didn't think that you were all for this. I mean, as soon as you announced it, they were all thinking this is 100% up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's not
I've
all
already
for it?
pre-ordered it.
Rico. Rico's not all for it. You gonna wear ghost paint makeup all the time, Rico?
Well, I do like goth girls, so yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Oh, never mind. I guess he is all for it. I stand corrected. Anyway, there's your music news. A weirdo. We're gonna hit the reset. We got more. It's Beefy Presents Rock 102.1. Check this out. Whoop. And then we're back. Oh,
Look at that.
See, so clean. Gonna get on the air here in a little bit. I got a text message from Mari who was trying to come in at 8 a.m. this morning, and that obviously didn't happen. She had a shitty night's sleep. But that's what happens when you have toddlers.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure she's gonna come bearing gifts, Japanese style.
Oh
gifts.
yeah, that's
Whoa.
true.
I know, which I'm gonna be pretty stoked on. They have Japanese cuisine. Rico just recently came back from Japan and came with gifts as well.
I didn't get anything.
Not as many, just like some candies.
Yeah, you
Some
couldn't
used panties.
eat any of them, because
Wait, you used panties?
No, those vending machines they have out there.
sometimes I
Not
feel
in
like
the airport.
sometimes I feel like you act more pervy than you really are because it's not that you want used panties. And tell me the truth. Have you ever smelled someone else's panties?
Yes.
Confession session.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Then,
Yes, I have.
Emphatically.
all right. So are you disappointed that Rico did not bring back used panties from a Japanese woman from Japan?
Or man.
Or man. There's a good chance it could be a man. And there's a good chance that maybe it's not adult like. So do you want to smell
Oh.
random? Well, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did I
That
just
is true.
ruin used
Your
panties
panty metrics.
sold in a vending machine for you?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. I'm sorry that it was a thing
I
that's
was on a reality show swinging around panties. Like it is documented that I will totally hold somebody else's panties.
you need to send me that clip immediately, by the way.
Make that a
Honestly,
gif.
If that's a deal, like that you
I
let's
did.
see. Good to come in. Yes, you're good to come in, Mari.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hold on, let me
She's-
turn off my murder documentary and go to HBO Max.
Yeah, please do.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about because I've been watching Shogun.
Have you been watching
all,
Shogun?
All the Japans. Oh yeah,
Ah.
it's so good. Have you seen it?
No, because I don't have Hulu.
Neither do I.
Nice.
Just kidding, Hulu. Please don't come after me.
They're not gonna come after you. They're not watching this. All right. We're gonna get on here in about 12 seconds. You don't need to send me the clip right now because I guess we're not gonna be able to share it right now. But you did back it up, and I apologize for calling you out, thinking that you don't like dirty used panties, and I believe you. You do.
I do.
Good for you.
Mhm.
It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Learning things about your co-hosts over the years is always fascinating, especially when they're things that you can't necessarily talk about on the radio.
Right.
You're a freak. Okay, so I want to get into this now. We've all been dating in modern age. I came across this fascinating piece about rules for dating your parents and I've never had to deal with. Because
Oh, yeah.
modern day dating is such a
Mhm.
hassle, and there are so many different rules. And so here's one: being on the phone during a date. Right now, it's rude if you're on a phone
Mhm.
during a date. And everyone knows that. This is
Yep.
a modern day unwritten rule. If you're on a date and they bust out the phone, they're looking through the phone, they're scrolling, you're not talking, it's not a good date. It's a big no-no. Now, this was a thing that your parents didn't have to deal with because the first smartphone didn't come out until like 1994. And, they weren't texting. They didn't have internet. It wasn't really a cool thing. So,
And if the guy busted out a giant brick phone, that means he was loaded.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
And they could
That
take
was a
that
brag.
call because either they were talking to an important
Right.
client, selling stocks, or buying cocaine. And either way, it was acceptable during that time.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Here's another one. Seeking consent, which I'm like, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Back in the day, you didn't have to seek consent. It was just assumed consent was given. No, this is what they said. It's not like back in the day where they were dating that sexual activity and permission was just assumed. But in today's world, there's a more emphasis on consent in many different ways, right? And it means making sure there's interest in physical touch, asking if it's okay, doing a periodic check-in, mid-stroke, like consent to go back in,
Right.
right?
May I?
Yeah. So paying attention to body language and all that, and remembering that no means no. So no matter how far you go along in the action, it's just that kind of stuff just wasn't talked about. as
No,
much
it
back
was
then.
not.
Right.
She grunted. He grunted.
And
Game
they,
on.
Yeah. Then they grunted together.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And then they got married and stayed together for 70 years.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So these are rules for dating that your parents never had to deal with. And it just goes to show that we have a lot of different rules that makes it even more complicated.
Well, and with the seeking consent thing, like how many grandparents and great grandparents have he stalked me for 6 months and would be outside my work every day. And I kept telling him no. And then I find
No, I know.
it is creepy to think about.
I know. I do the same
He
thing.
fought my actual boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, I do the
Sword
same
fight.
thing, and it's considered criminal. But I'm just like, no, baby, I'm old school. I'm romantic. This boombox outside your window playing our favorite song while you're like sleeping with your new
Super
boyfriend.
creepy.
Yeah, not creepy at all.
Oh my God. So if any guys on their Tinder right now are like, I'm just old school traditional, we know what that means now. You're going to stalk us
Yeah.
until we just finally give in.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned Tinder because a couple rules that your parents never had to deal with. Obviously, you're keeping dating profiles up to date, or dating app pen pal traps. Right when there were no smartphones, there was no texting and dating app culture, so there weren't no endless chats back and forth over the app or whatever, just to where there was eventually no meetup. This happens a lot. Especially with people who match mutually and or match a bunch, and usually with dating apps, that's kind of the game.
Right.
It's like you have to match because if you just match one person and just stop and try to focus on that one person,
Not gonna
there's
work.
a good chance, that's going to come off too aggressive or too needy.
Right.
And then and the other person that you match with, guaranteed, probably talking to 3 or 4 people at the same time.
Right. So really what is dating apps is all about. It's like you're simultaneously having several light conversations at once just to kind of see who, floats to the top.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I don't miss it.
It's a game show.
Yeah. Another a dating rule that your parents never had to deal with were boundary discussions. So today people are more accepting and open to communication over boundaries and personal ground rules.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of a trial and error type deal back in the day. You learned as you went.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't like that, do you? Okay.
I'm going to try it 3 more times just to make sure.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't like it? Okay. All right. And finally, playing it cool. All right. That's a rule that your parents did not have to do. They did not have to play it cool. Today, guys are encouraged to be communicative, emotionally accessible, and vulnerable. But that really wasn't a thing when your folks were out there dating and banging. It can make for a less pressure-filled environment, unless, of course, you end up being with someone who uses your vulnerabilities against you when they're mad at you. And I had a situation like that. And it was rough, dude.
Mhm.
Seriously, like it was because of that stupid Facebook page. But, every single situation where she'd get mad and be like, I'm going to go post about you on that page. Like,
Right.
stop. Like,
Right.
and it's like,
Emotional blackmail type stuff.
yeah, that's what I called it. Emotional blackmail. It took me a while to get it through to her head. Like, what you did not only pushed me away, but terrorized me.
Right.
Because,
This is not okay.
yeah, then I have to walk
This
on
is healthy.
eggshells because then I'm afraid that whenever you're mad at me, you're going to run to this page
Right.
and continue to put fuel on the fire and lie about me. And on top of the other lies that are already said about me, it sucks.
Right.
So if you're in that situation as well, I feel for you. But there you go. Those are dating rules that you didn't have to that you have to deal with that your parents did not. So it's a
Take
better
that.
time back then. All right.
They had more affordable housing and just
Yeah.
lax dating rules. This is BS.
This show's called Back in the Day. Wasn't it better?
Wasn't it?
We got music on the way from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Keep right here. It's Rock 102.1. We are on a Friday, so we have a lot of fun stuff happening this weekend. And here to point us in the right direction is Weirdo. What do you got for us here, Weirdo?
Well, we have a taste of Oro Valley life up at the Oro Valley Marketplace tomorrow. It's from 2 to 6. There's going to be part of the Oro Valley 50th Golden Anniversary celebration. It'll feature food, beverages from local restaurants, a silent auction, live music, and a children's area with a petting zoo.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's all in Oro Valley. Is that
Yes.
free?
It is.
Okay.
Now,
and-
you're going to have to pay for food or if you buy anything, but it is free to attend. And, live music's always a good thing.
Yes, it'll be great background music and food. And of course, the weather, I think this weekend is going to be fantastic and you got to enjoy it before it gets too hot. Now, Tucson's considering doing this heat advisory days like Phoenix just did. But I think the argument for that is in Phoenix, there's going to be a lot more days that are excruciatingly hot. In Tucson, the luxury that we have is that we live amongst piles of dirt. So we don't capture and trap the heat like Phoenix does on that heat island. So it cools down at night and we don't have that many days. That is nutty.
Right.
But that's not a concern going into this weekend when it's going to be literally perfect outside.
Oh my God, it's going to be in the 70s. It's going to be
Gorgeous.
fantastic.
Yeah. So if you're looking for some fun family activities this weekend, Oro Valley is the place to be.
Yep.
What else is going on this weekend?
We got the 90s dance party at Surly Wench. I have been to many of these and they are always fantastic. It's 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Actually, tonight, and it will be Surly Wench Pub, 424 North 4th Avenue. It's only $5 to get in, and that is a 21 and up event.
That sounds fun. That might be something to do after the Roadrunners games. I'd love me some 90s music for sure. In fact, actually, that was my specialty when I started DJing because everyone who grew up in like their adolescence area, they know and love music by the time they were coming of age, and that sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Yes, and they have the videos up too, so you can watch all the music videos with it, and of course, drinks and a good time. I mean, it's a pirate lesbian goth bar. Like, how could you go wrong? Just saying, it is one of my favorite places.
Yeah, so if you're single looking to mingle with people between 35 and 45 tonight, Surly Wench, 90s night for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what else is going on?
Well, you can follow up 90s night with Goat Yoga tomorrow morning at Udall Park from 9 to 10. That's right. You can do yoga with goats. Little pygmy goats. They're so cute.
I'll tell you what, if I'm raging with a bunch of 90s music and shots, I'm going to be way too hungover to do goat yoga in the morning.
Not me.
All right.
Hell
well,
no.
it's good for you.
I want to play with goats.
It's so funny that this is an actual thing here in Tucson.
It is.
So how much does it cost for goat yoga?
So it is $25 because, but then some of the proceeds also go to the goat rescue that they utilize for the goats.
Have you ever goat yogaed?
No.
Rico,
it's on the to-do list.
I'm picking you up at 8:30.
All
Let's
right.
go.
All right.
Let's do the thing.
Is it still called downward dog then if you have a goat on your back? Or is it downward goat? See, these are questions that you can only answer if you go to goat
Exactly.
yoga. Okay.
So just go to Udall Park tomorrow morning. You'll be fine.
Udall Park?
And they
Okay.
never
Udall
hear
Park.
that joke, so make sure you repeat it to them.
Right. At least 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I actually hit the button again, and that's all right. That was we ended there.
Okay.
Yeah. It was nice.
I didn't get to the adult egg hunt.
Yeah, well,
Oh, well.
yeah. That's all right. We could do that in another segment. Sorry.
It's a whole segment to itself.
Yeah, that was 3 minutes 18 seconds. Hopefully it ended all right. God damn it. It's a little harder today than.
I can tell.
Well, you got anything that you could throw out as a segment there, Rico?
A segment?
Yeah.
Like what?
Anything? So I could throw in there and then record something real quick?
No.
Okay. So that doesn't make it easier.
Have either of you played Dead by Daylight?
What's Dead by Daylight?
Dead by Daylight 4. It's like a horror video game.
I think so. I think Rami Mel. Oh wait, is it the? You're getting chased by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played that once. It's okay. People love it. I wasn't too enthralled.
No, they're having Slipknot join.
Noise.
Oh, yeah. We're still recording on this, too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right.
The behind the scenes, what it looks like between segments.
Yes. I know I had a bunch of other stuff. I thought I did anyways. Ick. Oh yeah, but I already talked about stuff like that. Like talked about. Well, I didn't talk about sex toy bootlegging. I talked about the DoorDash and harass, which was pretty funny still. And then they had. Okay. Let's see. Watch this. So I'm fighting Rock 1 2.1 KFMA. Weirdo, you're so lucky you don't have a penis. Yeah, you don't understand all the downsides. Am I right, Rico?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, do tell.
You'd be along with Rico and myself and other like super large dong men out there. They know the downsides of having a schlong, and actually went to Reddit and started venting to the world because women just assume that if you got the hose, that it goes anywhere it wants to goes, and it's a golden life. But no, there are downsides to having a masculine member between the legs. Okay. So here's some of these examples that were on Reddit and stuff. And just Rico, let me know when you relate to these.
Okay.
All right. Feeling the urgent need to pee while simultaneously having wood. Right? Yes. That is always excruciating. So like women, when they need to pee, they can just pee. They pop a squat and it's going. But in the morning, when a guy's at an 11, like it kind of causes like a blocker. And if you are able to get it out, which is still kind of like an uncomfortable experience, you have to also point it down. You have to lean over like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's just not good.
I've always been curious about that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
I'll send you a
'cause I'm
video.
like, what? No, thank you. I don't need to see it.
Okay. Yeah, but you can relate to that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's not good.
no, and then you end up urinating all over the bathroom. It's just not good. And speaking of which, here's another problem with having a schlong: the twin stream, right? And having a twin stream where neither one hits the toilet. Yes, and this is usually a post-coital thing, right? But yeah, you can go to the bathroom thinking you're all lined up, good to go, and next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and just like everywhere.
It's like 400 psi in every direction.
Yes, so that's
Can't
a
control it.
downside,
You're just screaming.
right?
So
Okay.
you guys pee on everything on purpose and then also not on purpose.
A lot of times it's not on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The
unless
best thing
it's-
ever is like saving up a good PSI stream though. When you see like things that need to be peed off on the toilet bowl,
Yes,
that's a great feeling.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
an accomplishment. It's a
it
freebie.
is. It is. It's kind of like an air blaster or whatnot,
Right.
A pressure hose.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's how we clean toilets. Who needs a brush when
Yeah.
you can just point and spray? All right. So no matter how much you shake and dance, the last few drops go down your pants. That's a problem.
Okay.
All right. And that rhymes too. So that's
Good
pretty
Dr. Seuss book.
cool. He called it Horn Here's a Pee. All right. See, it can change size, shape, and stiffness significantly. Yeah, we have no control over it, and sometimes it doesn't cooperate.
That has got to be odd. Like that is something I've thought about, like
See?
having something on my, like it'd be like as if like my shoulder got bigger, smaller, was moving around. Like, cause also same with the Huevos as
Yeah.
well. I know that those will adjust depending on body temperature and all of that.
Absolutely.
That's got to feel like alien.
Well, you've seen the movie with the Hulk, right? How Bruce Banner gets mad.
Yeah, he gets mad and the
Come
hulks
on,
up.
go, do it, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh yeah,
it's-
there's that opposite where you want it to do something and it doesn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're a grower, not a shower, you want to, if you're revealing for the first time, you want to have the optimal, like kind of like swelling to reveal. But
Mhm.
sometimes, the temperature and everything else just not agreeing with you.
Right.
And you're like, I don't want to show it at this state.
Right.
I need to get to another state, and it makes for uncomfortable situations.
So many variables.
Yeah. Speaking of which, is changing size, shape, and stiffness and all that stuff.
Mhm.
It's done it at least 3 times just in this conversation that we're having right now.
Same.
Yeah. All right. And then they say it's a weak spot that everyone knows about. So we're always
Yeah,
vulnerable to attack.
That is true.
Okay. A zipper is a natural enemy. All right. Have you ever zipped it up?
Thankfully, no. I'm super cautious.
Oh, I have. In
thanks.
very painful ways. almost like something about Mary Ways. So yeah, it made me like switch to like button-up jeans for a long time.
Beef's just running around wearing button-up mom jeans.
Yeah.
They
There's
laugh all
a
you want.
reason.
Laugh all you want.
And finally, one of the worst things about having a schlong is we all get judged about size one way or another, and it's something that we have no control over at all.
Correct.
Yeah, so
That is true.
Yeah, so like that's I always get this like, oh, it's too big, and it just sucks so bad. And you feel the same way, right?
Mhm.
No Diddy.
How do you both deal with the owners?
The owners.
The owners, like when it is like absolutely inappropriate, and then he is reacting, you're like, come on, bro, stop it. Like, how do you handle that?
I kick back and enjoy.
Oh,
You know,
Let it do the thing.
Yeah, as long as I'm just not in a public area around children, I'm fine. That's the only place where I don't want to have.
Well,
Right.
as a kid in elementary, like when you had to go to the board to do a question or something like that, and you had the thing,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, it happened all the time. In fact, actually, I just put chalk on the tip and it would write it out, like Goodwill Hunting style.
No hands.
Yeah,
Everybody's
the
like,
full
what the hell?
equation. You guys ready for this? I was waiting for you to call on me. I've been preparing in the back there.
Expulsion was fun.
So there you go. So that's the downside of having schlongs. So feel our pain, ladies.
Mm.
Or don't.